can now be joined from outside Parliament by Andrew Bowie, the Scottish Conservative MP, I should say, for Aberdeenshire South and Kilcarden, I believe. Andrew Bowie, thank you so much for joining us this morning. What a day it's turning out to be. You yourself voted no confidence in the Prime Minister around a month ago. Do you feel vindicated this morning?
Yeah, I do actually, Tom. The Prime Minister 4 weeks ago suffered the worst result in a confidence vote in leader of the Conservative Party that we've ever seen, worse than Theresa May, worse than John Major, and even worse than Margaret Thatcher. So I think he should have looked then at whether it was sustainable for him to carry on in Downing Street. So I am glad that finally he's done the right thing. He's accepted that he cannot govern effectively when so many ministers are either telling him to resign or indeed resigning themselves. And now I hope that this leadership election can be expedited quickly and we can move on, bring the party together, bring the country together and start governing given the huge issues that we face across the country.
You might very well hope that this can be done quickly and cleanly. However, all the evidence looks like it will be precisely the opposite. There is no clear successor. One of the things that kept Boris Johnson in post for such a long time after the scandals and the various rigmarole of all of this circus really began 6 or so months ago, one of the things keeping the Prime Minister in place was the fact that there is no natural successor, that this will likely be a fairly messy leadership election. Andrew Bowie, you've been being wined and dined and even gone out for drinks with various leadership candidates, or potential candidates I should say, as they've been trying to butter up key figures in the Conservative Party. What's your view on how many candidates are going to stand and whether you're leaning towards anyone in particular?
Look, Tom, we simply don't know who's going to stand or indeed what they're standing on. The Prime Minister has, within the last hour only, declared his intention to move on from Downing Street. I think that there will be a number of candidates, and we are lucky in the Conservative Party that we have so many able candidates for the job, or we will have so many able candidates for this job. We've got so many issues facing us within this country and indeed around the world. So I think that we'll be blessed with whoever comes in. I've said before on your show, Tom, I don't like to get in the predictions game, but everybody thought it was going to be a messy and long drawn-out process when David Cameron resigned. Obviously that was fixed within 3 weeks. We had a Prime Minister in Downing Street, and even the last leadership election, it only took 4 to 5 weeks going to the membership of the party in the country to see Theresa May leave and Boris Johnson in Downing Street. So there's no reason that this needs to be long and drawn out. It would be to the detriment of the party and therefore to the detriment of the country if it was. So I would ask all colleagues to bear that in mind as we move forward through the process over the next few weeks.
Well, the Prime Minister will resign as leader of the Conservative Party today. We understand he will really say that he wants to stay on as Prime Minister through this leadership contest. Andrew Bowie, as someone who has opposed this Prime Minister in the last few months, what is your view as to whether he is the right person to stay on as Prime Minister until a successor can be found? A number of your colleagues mulling over the possibility that instead an interim Prime Minister is found and Boris Johnson should resign immediately, both roles.
Look, Tom, the Prime Minister has finally done a decent thing and he has resigned. He is resigning as leader of the Conservative Party. Do I think it would be better if we had an interim leader in place as we go through this process? Probably, given the division and the bitterness that is in the Parliamentary Conservative Party at the minute as a result of what's gone on. But the fact is we've got to this stage. The Prime Minister will be leaving Downing Street. We will have a new leader and a new Prime Minister, hopefully within a matter of weeks. So in terms of should he stay on, I think that's immaterial. He will be leaving his position as leader of the Conservative Party. The country will have a new Prime Minister within a matter of weeks. And I think that's what we should be focusing on today.